Hi guys, it's Lindsay. I just wanted to give you a moment of enjoyment at the sound of a pencil scritchy scratching across watercolor paper. Now what I'm working on in today's video is taking a small painting that I painted on the scene of a local protest in June 2020 and repainting it larger for display at a local art museum. Now, I really enjoy making my small watercolor sketches. I like to pack small pieces of paper and a portable watercolor set with me and capture those moments that just happen each day. I very purposely brought my supplies with me to the protest so that I could capture some of those sights of this unique event here in our small town. Just as an aside, I love when the background color gets filled in and you start seeing the shapes of the people or the things you're painting, and this is not always the way I work, but I really am enjoying this part of the painting, watching it sped up and seeing those shapes emerge from the background. Anyway, back to the story. I submitted the small painting for the call for entries from the Midland Center for the Arts. They are putting on a show called What's Certain About Uncertainty, and they wanted paintings that dealt with the pandemic and different things that were happening around the world right now that have sort of caused uncertainty or turmoil or big events within our society. And so I knew I had this painting from the protest and I wanted to submit it, and they liked it. But they were afraid, of course, that hung on the wall next to much larger things, the painting itself would get lost and people wouldn't really notice it. And I completely understand. I agree. So I decided I would work to make it larger so that it wouldn't get lost on the wall. I would hate to be so excited to hang up my painting and then nobody even sees it. So it took a lot of work. There was a lot of frustration during the process, but in the end, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I hope you will join me on this video and see what you think. Here I'm just testing one of the skin tones I mixed on a scrap piece of watercolor paper. I just want to see how it dries before I put it on the painting. Bitch! I love getting into my art and adding so many details and trying to make it look realistic. Bringing in the word police across the back of her vest and the badge on her shoulder, the seams in the clothes and the shadows and different things are really part of the way I make art, which sometimes makes it hard for me to balance simplified expressions of a place or an event without getting bogged down in the details. And this frustration definitely comes up in this painting, where I've taken a small painting that was much more simplified, and you knew there were people and you knew what was going on, but you didn't need to see their eyes or their nose or anything like that. But for me, to put absolutely nothing on their faces at this size is a big struggle. It's not something I can stylistically do. It probably works out for some artists. There are some artists that make some very beautiful, simplified, or even abstract things. And that's never been in the realm of my ability, really. Normally in my videos, I take a moment to tell you what shows or videos I've been watching, what podcasts I'm listening to, things like that, as a fun way to share that the things that we might have in common. Maybe you'll be like, oh, I love that podcast, or I'd like to check it out, or you watch a same channel on YouTube as I do, and it might be a fun way to connect and kind of get to know each other. However, for this video, I really just want to encourage you to use the internet as a tool to learn. You have so much available to you. We all do. The internet is a great way to find out what's happening in the world, and you should be delivered several sources on the same story. So if there's something happening in the nation and you want to look it up in your nation, whatever nation, I'm speaking from the perspective of an American from the United States, but if there is something going on in your world that you want to know more about, look it up and read a few different articles from different sources. Don't believe every memeified news that pops up on your feed. In a lot of the social media, we gravitate toward people we know or people who think like us. So that becomes an echo chamber where we're just being told over and over again the same things we already know, and it reinforces our ideas. But the world is so much bigger than that. There are people who have had different experiences, who've grown up in a totally different lifestyle than you've experienced, and their opinions are still just as valid as ours. Somebody could have grown up in a totally opposite way from me, and it's up to me to be open to hearing what they've experienced and open to the knowledge that this world is not, it may not be exactly the way I've experienced it, because there are other people out there who have had different experiences from me. Not everyone grew up like me in the same place, in a small town where there wasn't very much diversity, where people were very much same. I didn't get a lot of different experiences growing up, but the internet and even just growing up and getting out there in the world help you open your eyes to other people whose life you may have never heard about before, or experiences you may have never understood before. The tools are available to you. Now take this opportunity to grow. I hate the faces. The smaller painting was so much more simple because it was small, so it didn't need faces. And now I've got to make a bigger painting, and having thumb-sized circles for heads that don't have anything on them you can't do that. So now I got to paint faces on them. I obviously I have a few photos from the event, but I don't really know what these people's faces look like at that exact angle, with that exact lighting, and they're still small. They're still small for doing faces with a lot of detail. And they look awful. They look awful and creepy and stupid. I'm just tired. I'm tired of how bad the painting looks. I'm tired of remote schooling. I'm tired of being behind on my video. I mean, this video is supposed to be edited and up. I am tired. I got the stress here and stabby ice picks here. I don't know what to do. Here's what I'm struggling with right now. I had to come in here and erase out because she didn't really have a chin, because I kind of just went with a simplified shape at first, but she didn't have a chin. So I had to fix that. And then she just looked so sad. I erased, what I had done is I had put a shadow for the top of her chin, where the chin wasn't sticking out as much, because the light's coming from the side, and then it looked like she was sad, and her eyes looked so sad. I even dug out the sad chin, and her eyes look so sad. I don't know what to do. And I don't know, I kind of like her simple face right there. But I don't know, maybe it looks like she's squinting. Maybe I shouldn't have put the eyelashes in, and I gotta push her shadows a little bit more, but I don't know. she was easy. I decided that she, even though originally she didn't have her neck gaiter pulled up, I decided she did here, because she does in some of the other photos I took from that day. So it's not like wrong. I decided to put her neck gaiter up because she did in other photos throughout the day, so it's not necessarily inaccurate. It's just not how I painted her originally. I'm not adding things that weren't there. She also had a bandana around her neck that day, like a face mask bandana type thing. So I'm not making a political statement. I didn't add those things. Those were there, accurate to the day. I don't know, though. I don't know. That's more red than I want. There was a time that I believed that everyone that had a job would just do their very best at the job, and they wouldn't bend the rules or blatantly disregard the rules just because it suited them and their own thoughts and feelings and narrative. Like if they were in charge of people or kids or enforcing rules, that they would do what's best for those people that they're in charge of, enforce the rules to protect the people that they're supposed to protect. You know, that like if you run a daycare, you can trust the daycare person to protect the children they're in charge of. That if you work at a school with children, that you would instinctually just protect the children. You wouldn't cause them harm. Because you've got an authority and you're in charge, and it's your job. You know, if you work at a bank, you don't deceive and steal money. If you work at a pharmacy, you're not just taking drugs for yourself, and if you're a doctor, you're not purposely harming your patients. Like I just used to believe that if you had accepted a responsibility to follow certain rules and protect certain persons, that you would just do that. And ideally, that's just the way that things would work. But that's not the way things work. And I still don't understand why. I don't understand why I don't know. Why you wouldn't take your responsibility and strive to meet it every day instead of doing what's easy or better for you, only following the rules that benefit you at the time. None of that makes any sense to me, and I don't understand why it even happens. heartbreaking. It's just so heartbreaking. A bit here that I had mixed up for her skin tone, just in case I had to come back and push some of those shades and things. I think we're good. So I'm just mixing it up because I don't want the background to be your exact same skin tone. I want to add a little bit. I want to darken it a little bit. I don't want it to hit right across her arm and then her arm gets lost because it's like, what's that? Is that part of the background? Is that part of the parking lot? No, it is not. That is her arm. Protest itself started in the park, and we had more of a memorial kind of service where we had some time of silence and we talked about some of the things that were going on, and then afterwards some of the people went to another town to join a bigger protest there, and then some of us stayed and walked toward the main road here, and there were buildings there, but I don't want to get too much into it with the buildings and detract from the people that are standing here, because this is the important part here. So I have artistically chosen to leave those out. I wonder if I should have left them without faces so that you can't read into it emotions that weren't there. I mean, I found this to be a really important exchange. But honestly, I mean, between the two of them, it was granted. Like, there's no reason why this should be anything that's special. It's just, do you want a bottle of water? Yeah, thanks. It was simple and small. It wasn't symbolic. It wasn't meant to mean anything bigger than what it was. But to me, it meant a lot. It meant to me, it meant could be respect. And it wasn't necessarily about George Floyd or anything like that. To me, it was more about the respect between the officer and a group of teenagers. A group of teenagers wanted to have this protest / remembrance kind of thing, and a group of old people on the internet freaked out because in cities and states, or cities in other states, there have been riots and things like that, and so they automatically assumed that the town is going to devolve into rioting and everything's going to be horrible and they're going to lose their property and things are going to get destroyed and I'm going to be out there with my guns. If anyone tries to touch my stuff, I'm going to be protecting myself. This is what happened. None of that fear-mongering or anything else happened. This is what happened that day. I think it's about done. I gotta see how that sky dries. Should have brought some more. Here.
We just started. So, but if I do kill you, I will have to take care of your peoples. Unless I'm one of those meme lords that, it's like killing someone's parents and then not like taking care of their children, or at least bringing them to another village that will take care of them.
Hey, when I go low, if I ever go low, I know what to do.
What?
Not gonna tell you.
Of course.
Here's a look back at the original painting. And here's the new one that I've painted for the display at the art museum. I like the way it turned out. I think I'm pretty happy overall, and I'm prepared to take it in and hang it up. I'm just mostly excited for the opportunity to share my art. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.